like that? You don't like that? I like that.
That is very offensive.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TACT Lab, where four friends sat down to talk about pretty much anything. And today we've got a doozy for you. So, like always, I'm surrounded by three friends. I got Chris. How are you, Chris?
I'm good and bad. You know, we're starting Black Friday off with a bang. Rip Dustin Diamond. Keep your diamond hands for him, though.
Keep your diamond hands up.
His life came to a screeching halt.
Is he dead?
Yeah, Screech died.
From cancer?
Stage 4 cancer.
It killed him that quick?
In like a month.
I thought he molested somebody.
What?
But he's dead now.
Dude, he just told
Molestee or to molest her?
He just told everybody he had cancer.
And died today.
Holy fuck.
It's like the white Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah. On the first day of Black History Month, too.
At least he got to live to be 44.
Dude.
What a long life.
He's a lot younger than I thought he was.
That's devastating. I didn't even know about that. You just blew my mind. Thomas, how are you?
I'm good.
All right. Alex?
The character of Robin Hood's ironic.
Why? Because why?
You know, the whole
He's in tights.
stealing from the rich to give to the poor, and you just can't do it no more.
Well,
Yep.
they thought
Maybe the sheriff at Nottingham was right.
Money
Yeah.
corrupts, Alex.
hold the line. Hold the line.
Hold the door.
Hold on.
Hold the door.
To the moon, but I don't know if
I don't know
we'll go
after.
to the moon.
Can you go to the moon?
Will we crash into the firmament?
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out.
I want to go to Antarctica with Alex Jones and find that next reality of civilization past Antarctica that we think is Antarctica.
Or will we fall off an edge?
Will you fall off an edge, or will you find more water afterwards and more civilizations with welcoming open arms, or will they shoot you right when you get to their civilization?
It's like the first scene from what was that show, American Gods?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, with the arrows?
Yeah, they land. It's just
They land and it's just a million arrows hit them as soon as they take 3 steps off the boat.
Well, we have our first special guest, David Weiss. He's
Weiss like ice.
Weiss like ice.
Weiss like ice.
He's an incredible individual. He's very, very smart. He is a flat earther through and through.
A globe denier.
He is an expert in his own field.
Yep.
We gave him the mic. We gave him free play, and he did not disappoint. He was an eye opener for all of us. He taught me a few things, and it was interesting. He has an app. What's the app called, Thomas?
Sun, Moon, and Zodiac app.
Yeah, and so you can download that.
And he's also on the Flat Earth podcast and stuff like that.
He is fully invested in the flat Earth and the society that it is. And
Hope y'all enjoy it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Hey, everybody. We got David Weiss. He's in the studio, in the stratosphere, it looks like. He's from the Flat Earth podcast, and he has the Sun, Moon, and Zodiac app if y'all want to go check it out. It's the best Flat Earth app you will ever have. So, yeah, David, how you doing?
Doing great, guys. How's it going with you?
Can't complain.
It's going good.
Good.
We're really excited to be talking with you.
So, if I have, do I understand? I'm in the room with 4 guys that think we live on a spinning ball flying through an infinite vacuum.
Hey, I believe most of us are rounders.
Yes, we are. We are.
Okay, that's crazy. I mean, it's 2021, and there's still people that believe that. It's insane. Hopefully, we can correct that during this hour.
I want to be convinced. I want to be converted. So
Yeah.
I'm ready for whatever you got to throw at me.
Now, I did
Awesome.
listen to a few of your things, and you have a few things that really made me think. We'll put it that way.
Well, that the ball doesn't make you think. You live on a ball. Lightning struck and created, an amoeba that turned into a human, and you're flying through an infinite universe. You don't have to think, because if you do, you're gonna go, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. During this podcast, I'm going to say some insane things.
Okay.
I'm also going to say some things that are, all right, that makes sense. And what you'll notice is when I say the insane things, like, that the insane things are related to the heliocentric model. Like, we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. We're traveling through space at 500,000 miles an hour. We're orbiting at 66,000 miles an hour. And that entire system's moving sideways at 1.2 million miles an hour. That's insane. right?
Fast.
Versus we're flat and stationary and we don't move, just like every sense we have tells us. That makes sense, right? You're going to see that the insanity is the heliocentric model. And there's something that all people that believe in the heliocentric model have in common, and that is two things. One, they have a false belief on what the flat Earth is. They've been brainwashed through the Flat Earth Society to believe that the flat Earth is a disk floating in space, when that's not it at all. The flat Earth is a pond, if you will, on an immovable ice plane. So there you go.
Would we be wrong to believe that it's on the back of a turtle? It's also on the back of some elephants. So we'd be off there.
I can't prove that wrong, but I would say you're probably wrong. You're probably wrong.
So like, if I'm going to believe it, that's what I want to believe.
So in your model, David, you showed that we were in a giant pond, and then we were surrounded by what looked like an infinite amount of ice in your previous model. Is that an over-exaggeration of a model?
So there's two things. One is, when you look at the flat Earth, we can look at things that we have access to, but anything above our heads or beyond the shoreline of Antarctica is off limits. So we can only speculate. We can only do little experiments to say, yeah, that's possible. But we don't have access to Antarctica. Antarctica is very likely bigger than all of the continents and all of the oceans combined, right? But this yellow line, this pink line is at 60 degrees south latitude. Nobody is allowed to explore beyond that line.
Because of the treaty, right?
Because of the treaty until the year 2041.
Wow.
See, yeah, that's what made me think is when I'm like, they say no one's ever really flown north to south Antarctica. And I'm like,
well, north to south is tricky because you can fly, from where's America is covered here. You can fly, north here. I'll show you a better, you can circumnavigation is one of the big questions that people have. And circumnavigation can take place going east and west, because east and west are circles around the magnetic center. So here's the flat Earth. Here's a magnet in the middle. That's the North Pole. And if you look at the compass as we're going east or west, you have to keep turning to keep that needle pointed towards the center.
Right.
So east and west are circles, but that doesn't prove the Earth is flat, because that's the same on a ball.
Right.
Right. You can even go from America, head north, and then as soon as you pass the North Pole, you're heading south and go over to Japan or, to the Far East. Right. You can cross over the middle. But what you can't do on a flat Earth is go south from like Santiago and pop up over in Australia like you should be able to on a ball. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if any straight line ends up being south, right? But on a ball, you should be able to go from Santiago, Chile, straight across to Australia. Now, people say, well, you can't fly across Antarctica because it's too desolate. Okay, let's just stay at like 50 degrees south and just go around here. And that would be the shortest path, right? That would make sense. Yeah. But in reality, if you want to go from Santiago, you go all the way up to the United States, all the way across, and all the way down. Does that seem a little crazy?
Yeah.
Looking at that model, it does seem crazy.
Yeah. So check this out. If you want to go from Santiago to Eastern Australia, the path that you take is all the way up here, all the way over to Europe, Dubai, and then down. Okay. But if you look at that on a flat Earth map, it's a straight line. Check this out. All the way up across America, Europe, Dubai, East Australia. Straight line. Airplane, not air globe, fly over the Earth plane. Right? And the sea level is level, right? It's not sea curve. So so that's where we live. I mean,
True.
In the heliocentric model, I showed you this graphic earlier. We're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. Okay. That's faster than the speed of sound.
Yeah.
Right. And, if there's a tiny little motion, a tiniest little earthquake, or if you're in a car, let's say you're sleeping in a car and somebody just pushes the car a little bit, you notice it, right? Any motion you notice. Well, if we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, we're dropping at like 5 miles a minute, something crazy like that. And people say, well, the Earth is so big, it's only going around once a day. You're still traveling 1,000 miles an hour. While that's going on, you're orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. It sounds a little weird number, right? Why are they doing that? And then we're chasing the sun like a comet at 500,000 miles an hour. You can't even fathom this.
So is
right?
this expansion of what you're saying we've learned is the universe is like expanding outward because we're traveling.
They're
in some
saying the
sort of
universe
path?
is expanding into infinity. It's all nonsense. It's numbers that are so big that you can't fathom them, right?
Mhm.
So all of those motions are going on, and they're not straight motions. Like if you're in a car going 100 miles an hour on a perfectly smooth straight road and you have a dinner plate with an inch of water on it, no problem. If that car state's taking a turn, that water is going to slosh, right off the plate. Agreed?
It's physics, yes.
Yeah.
The body in motion remains in.
We have all of those motions, and we have lakes that look like this, right? Is that even a possibility? They say that at the equator, the water bulges 14 miles high due to the spin. Well, that kind of makes sense on a ball. 14 miles high. Think about this. You're flying from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere on a ball. So you're diving over a ball. An airplane flies at like 5 miles high. Well, if the equator is bulging 14 miles high, at what point do you climb an extra 10 miles, 3 times your cruising altitude, to skim over the water that's 14 miles high?
Are you imagining it as a wall or as a gradual?
Well, they're saying that the water bulges at the equator, so I would imagine it as a slope.
I mean,
but that's from the
atmosphere-
spin, right? But look at this lake. This lake is untouched by the spin. How come it's not leaning to one side or bulging, towards the equator?
Well, wouldn't you call that gravity?
Gravity's a theory. It's a made-up theory, and they don't even know what it is. They say 96% of it is dark matter and dark energy, which makes no sense whatsoever. But they're like, well, we can't see it, we can't prove it, but it has to exist, or our magical gravity doesn't work.
Okay.
What about centrifugal force, like a bucket of water and you turn it?
Yeah, so that bucket of water, that is centrifugal force. However, if you want to simulate the Earth, you have to turn that bucket outwards,
right,
and then spin it around. And what's going to happen?
Go everywhere.
Yeah. When I was in kindergarten or first grade, our teacher brought us outside and did the spinning around and told us that's how gravity works. And I actually asked the question. I'm like, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. The water would have to be on the outside of the bucket. And the teacher goes like this, scratches his beard, and he goes, yeah, that's a smart question. You keep asking questions. He goes, but that's how I'm supposed to teach it. So there you go.
Well, what about tides in the ocean?
Tides have nothing to do with the moon.
Okay.
They think about this. We're told that a full moon, you get a big tide. Well, how come we don't have a big tide on a new moon? The moon's still there. It's just not lit up.
Right.
Yeah. That makes no sense. I have some videos on tides that are mind blowing. I still haven't wrapped my mind around the tides. There's these tidal nodes all over the earth that have these weird tides that are happening. I think the tides have to do with some sort of, for lack of a better word, perspiration of the earth. The earth is like a living thing that's breathing in and out these waters. I don't know, but it's provably not the moon.
Yeah, it also could have something to do with maybe the ocean floor shifting that we don't actually know about. That's causing maybe microscopic movements on the surface of the ocean.
Yeah, what they tell us is that. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, there are earthquakes, so that's something. But when there's a high tide on one side of the ball, there's also a high tide on the other side of the ball. And, the high priest of science, Neil deGrasse Tyson, says, well, the moon's over here, so it's pulling a high tide here, right? And the reason there's a high tide on the other side is because the moon's pulling the earth away from the water on the other side. This is the official story. It's the dumbest shit ever.
Right.
Okay. But people just like, oh, yeah, I'm not smart enough to deny that. It's crazy.
David, can we step back and talk about the Antarctica Treaty? And I just need to know why there is a date and why was it established in the first place?
Yeah. So in the early 1950s, we had aircraft that are, capable of flying to Antarctica. I think that the rulers of this world are the ones that we see, the ones that are pulling our strings. they discovered that we're not on a ball. They went to Antarctica and they discovered that Antarctica is bigger than the rest of the world, and that maybe they found the dome, maybe they found other continents, other oceans, maybe another sun. I don't know. But so, the last person that went there, and I don't know if this is disinformation or not, but I think it was, Admiral Byrd. He went on a news show just once and did this famous broadcast. Just look up Admiral Byrd's Antarctica news. And he said he found land bigger than the United States that no one's ever stepped foot on. And then that was it. Antarctic Treaty, everyone signed on. And the Antarctic Treaty, there's two reasons for it. One, we have to protect the penguins and the ice. We need to keep the ice pristine. It's the last place on Earth that no human has dropped a cigarette butt on. That's like one reason. And the other reason is they're like, we need it. It's strategic because the Russians could sneak underneath the Earth and attack us. Okay. I mean, it's the dumbest crap ever. Right. So, and then no person or corporation can even question the treaty until the year 2041, where they're going to kick it down the road another 60 years.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And the thing is, if you want to go explore Antarctica, it's going to cost you $200,000 to $2 million in permits. And then after a year of that, they're going to say, sorry, denied, and they keep your money. So
Is permitting a thing that really happens if you want to go to Antarctica, or is
no one's ever gotten through the permit process? There's one guy that I forget his name, but his country gave him permission to go to Antarctica. He went there. He was stopped by military force. They almost sank his ship. He turned around and went home, and they arrested him.
I just have Alex Jones go do it because he wants to do it with the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex does want to do it. I was on the Alex Jones show,
Right.
and he was obsessed with Antarctica. Did you guys see what's his right hand? The guy that does great videos. Not Aaron.
I'm not sure.
Alex's guy, but he did a piece on Antarctica, where he broke down the Antarctic Treaty for you in like a 5-minute video. It's amazing.
Oh,
Okay.
But let me show you my app so you can so it'll show you what it'll answer a bunch of questions, and then you guys could stem some more questions off from there. Is that
Okay.
cool?
Mm-hmm.
Can you make this so it's nice and big?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're looking down. So the world is not a disk in space. We're a pond, right? What's a pond? A pond is a body of water that sits in the low point of the land, and the edge of the pond is where the water's higher than the land, right?
Right.
Right.
With me?
Yes.
And so we live in the world pond, right? It's a giant lake, a big lake, and the edge of the lake is Antarctica. Okay. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. If you go to Antarctica, the land is 200 feet above your head. It's the highest land on Earth. We live in the Antarctic basin. So on a flat Earth, the sun, we're looking down at the pond. Look at it like a clock, right? I'll speed it up here. The sun goes around once every 24 hours. So the sun keeps track of the hours and the days. And as you see, it's catching up to the moon, and the moon phase is changing. So it'll lap the moon once every month, every 28 days. So the moon phases and its position keep track of the weeks and the months. They used to be called moons, but we changed it to months, right? And then if I turn on the stars, so we got the 12 zodiacs. The 12 zodiacs are spinning around, and they're going just slightly faster than the sun. So they'll actually lap the sun only once a year, right? So we're in this sign right now. Next month, Pisces will catch up to the sun, and then the next one and the next one. So the sun will be in each sign for about a month until it laps it, and then everything resets. Next year, same night, all the same time you go out, all the stars are in the exact same place as they were a year earlier at the same time.
Didn't they add another zodiac sign recently?
They were screwing around. I think that some of these signs have been combined. Maybe there was only 4. I don't know. That's not my.
It's all hocus pocus.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter whether you want to look at the signs or not.
Yeah.
They do lap the sun once a year.
So on that, what happens when like an eclipse happens?
Yeah, we can talk about eclipses in a little bit. Let me get through this, and we'll do eclipses next. Okay. So there's that. So if I turn on the compass, right? So this is how a compass works. The North Pole is in the center. South is every direction away from the center. Okay. every direction away. East and west. East is a circle. Think if you held a compass here, that compass always has to point towards the north. So east is literally a circle, right?
Right.
And west is a circle. Billions of people have circumnavigated. If I look at my compass, I'm heading 90 degrees. I'm just going east 90 degrees. Look, I'm in Africa. I'm in, Australia. I've come all the way around, and look, I made it all the way back. I circumnavigated the lake, not a ball, right? But what you can't do on a flat earth, this is where it comes in, is you can't go south here and pop up over here. And nobody's ever done it. No one's ever gone off of Johannesburg and popped up over in New Zealand. No one's ever done it. Okay? There's a reason for that. It's because the earth is flat and you can't do it. Okay? So you'll have questions. So every day there's a new video that goes right here. I do short ones during the week, longer ones on the weekend. And I tell people, take the Flat Earth app challenge. Watch a video every day for 2 weeks. Even if you hate flat earth, you think I'm crazy. At the end of that 2 weeks, if you still think the earth is a ball and could supply me with one proof, I'll refund your $2.99 and I'll give you a full Bitcoin. All right? A full Bitcoin. Wow. This is on the table. Or if you don't want Bitcoin, I'll give you 100 ounces of silver. Okay, physical silver.
Yeah,
right? Silver's jumping today.
Yeah.
So,
but before you send it to me, you have to hit that question mark. You hit the question mark, and up come all of the questions that you'll have. Like what you guys are going to ask. Why the lie? How do seasons work? Or what about ships over the horizon? If I click ships over the horizon, up come a list of videos that YouTube will not feed you. Like if you search flat earth, you won't find these videos, right? Because they're hiding this information from you. Eclipses. Here, let's look at eclipses real quick. This is interesting. So here's a whole bunch of videos on eclipses, but I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna play this video. I don't normally do this. Okay.
All right.
So I believe that the sun and the moon that we see are projected into our reality inside of our dome, and that the true source is above or outside of the dome, right? And so this is what happened. A couple years ago, somebody was filming the eclipse. This is the eclipse is happening right here. It's actually almost a full eclipse, but it's blowing out the lens. And people saw this moon, this eclipse light, but the one that's moving around, that's a lens flare. But this one is pinned to the sun. Like, what is that body? What is that thing? It's not a lens flare, because the lens flare would move just like the other one moves as the camera moves around. Right. So my idea was, hey, maybe that's the actual projector of the sun. So if this was my sun, the source of my projection, this is what an eclipse looks like. And this is why you never see the moon approach or exit the sun, right? So we're just seeing that, and it kind of looks just like the eclipse we saw. So here I did it with a thinner piece of paper because when the sky screen is less opaque, and look what happened. There's the source. This is the source here, and we get the exact same thing.
That's pretty awesome.
It's like some Truman Show stuff. Like someone.
Yeah. So absolutely. So
they're going to all this trouble to keep us happy.
Why the lie? No, not to keep us happy, to keep us as slaves.
Okay.
All right. So there's also in here tons of other stuff. If you guys haven't looked into mud floods, bottom right, that'll blow your mind. Biblical flat earth stuff. If you Google, top 10 reasons the earth is a globe, you're going to get all this propaganda. But we have all of that debunked in the Debunking the Debunkers right here.
Flat Earth Man.
Yeah. So, Flat Earth Man, you guys watch his videos, especially if you have kids. Watch them with your kids. You'll have the greatest time. His videos are unbelievable.
Nice.
All right. I have playlists for different languages. It does a whole bunch of other stuff, but so just real quick, seasons. So look at this yellow line. This is the Tropic of Capricorn, and this the inner yellow one's the Tropic of Cancer. So imagine if I hit the little jumping guy and I go to June, the sun is all the way on its inner track, and it's our inner northern summer. The inner north, it's our summer because the sun is closer to us and higher in the sky, right? Imagine an airplane flying directly over your head. That's your summer sun. And then an airplane that's paralleling that airplane, but it's 50 miles south of you. it's going to be lower in the sky and farther away. So when the sun is out here, it's the outer southern summer, and it's our winter because the sun is away from us and it's lower in the sky, and then vice versa with them when it goes in. You guys follow that?
Okay. Is it still a real sun though?
So
Or is like someone just hitting the thermostat on the wall?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Because if we're in a bubble in a screen, then that would affect the heat that the sun gives off too, right?
Well, so excellent question. So this is when I came to this realization that we if you try to triangulate something with two people, you get a location on it. But if you have a third person or a fourth person, if you're using cell towers to triangulate where your phone is, the more positions you have, the more things tracking it, the better the location is. You with me?
Right.
So when you try to do that with the sun or the moon, the more people you have, the farther off the location gets. It's because it's not acting like a physical object. So the way I can describe that is, imagine all of us are standing 25 feet apart in a row, and we're looking at a giant mirror, size of a football field, whatever. It's just the whole wall is a mirror, the whole in front of us, and the sun is behind us. It's going down. Okay. So we get a sixth person to go up to the mirror with a Sharpie, and I direct them. I say, I see the sun right there in the mirror, and they draw an X. Well, the one for Alex is going to be 25 feet over, and the one for Thomas is going to be 25 feet over. We're all going to see the sun in a different position, right? So there's no way to triangulate the sun we see because it's a reflection. So this is what happened. I was in Las Vegas at a conference, and I was at the pool. It was about 3:30 in the afternoon. The sun's like 45 degrees up in the sky. It's going down, but it was really hot, and the sun was on the right side of my face, and I could just feel the sun blasting on the right side of my face. And then the hotel was about 100 yards to the left, and it was a mirrored hotel, and the sun was lined up with one of the windows perfectly. And I could see the sun, and they looked the same, but of course I know the real sun's over there. And then I closed my eyes, and the one that was reflecting off the building was heating up the left side of my face. And I said, if I didn't know which one was the real sun,
right,
could I tell? And it was the same. It was the same amount of heat. So I just proved that a reflection can also generate heat.
Oh, yeah.
And so the sun that we see, it's not a burning ball of hydrogen. It's not even hot. It's electric in nature. Okay. It is sending electricity to Earth. That's how solar panels work. They collect electricity. They're not collecting photons and making a current. The scientists that build solar panels, that they don't even know how it works. They only have a theory how it works, right? They don't know how solar panels work. They have this bullshit theory about boron, the photon hitting a boron molecule, generating a current.
Right.
No, the sun is electric. If you put a house plant in front of a fire and in front of a fluorescent light, one of them is going to shrivel up and die. The other one's going to grow, right?
True.
Some of you might be growing weed, but it looks on your faces.
No.
Possibly.
That guy over there.
Possibly.
That ain't me. That ain't me.
So this is why it's cold when
how
you're up
there's,
on a
like,
mountain,
possible.
because there's less dense air, and the electricity from the sun electrifies the air. And the more intense it is, the hotter it is. So the hottest temperatures on Earth are like in Death Valley, which are the lowest places on Earth. So if the sun's close and the air is thick, it's really hot. And if you thin out the air, it gets really cold.
Okay.
Right? Did you know that during our winter in the north, we're 3 million miles closer to the sun, according to the heliocentric model?
No.
3 million miles closer. But they say just because we're tilted away, that spread of the sun is causing, this snowstorm I'm in the middle of right now versus, sweltering heat in the summer. It's nonsense. It's complete and total.
Well, that would be the light rays refracting through the atmosphere at an angle.
That's what they say it is.
Yeah.
But if you on June 21st, where you guys are in the US, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where are you? Is it cold where you are right now?
Yes.
East Coast,
Okay.
mid-East Coast.
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
North Carolina. It's not a
All right, so it's not that
We can't
good.
let
I'm
you-
in Connecticut, and it's we're in the middle of it's like
We're in
5 degrees
13 we're in
and it's
the 13
snowing. Like
colonies.
I got 2 feet. I
Yeah,
got
we
2
don't want
feet
to
of
be
snow.
too specific.
So in June, when I watch the sun appear on the horizon in the morning, as soon as I can see it, I can feel the heat on my face, like in Vegas. I could just feel the sun. I'm like, okay, I feel the warmth immediately. I feel the sun. But in December, not at sunrise, because that's like literally the most tilted you could be at sunrise. At December, at solar noon, when the sun is at its highest point, so I have a much more direct view of the sun. And according to the heliocentric model, we're 3 million miles closer. I can look at the sun and not even feel the heat on my face. There's nothing. I mean, I can feel a little bit, but nothing. So that there alone proves that the tilt of the earth has nothing to do with seasons. Proves. And again, in the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, if you click what about seasons, all the videos are there. And there's so much evidence by, equal latitudes north and south should have the same sun 6 months apart, should have the same plants and animals 6 months apart, but they don't. I mean, but they don't. It's completely different, and it all lines up perfectly with a flat earth.
Now, David, do you look at the sun with your exposed eyeballs, or is that something that you do not do?
I am a sun gazer, yeah, when possible. And during that eclipse that I filmed, my wife and I sat down there at the beach. We didn't even have sunglasses. We stared at the eclipse the entire time, right?
David.
So check
Dude, I
this
tried.
out.
I couldn't do it.
You're brainwashed into believing that. Think about this. You guys are aware that the government might not be out here for our best wish, our best?
No,
that
Yeah,
belief?
right.
Okay,
No, they're out
so
for the common man.
Building
whenever
seven.
there's an eclipse, free solar glasses for everybody. Everyone, don't look at the sun, you go blind. Well, if you tell people don't look at the sun, you're going to go blind, you're going to have about 1 million people go blind every single
Right.
time. How many people do you know that have gone blind from looking at an eclipse?
None.
Okay,
Oh, no,
zero.
I don't
know anyone
And they're
who's
giving
looked
out
at
these glasses for free.
You're the
I
first,
remember.
David.
I remember when the eclipse happened. There were reports of people going blind, and they're like, "That
No,
was a
there's
mistake."
reports of nonsense. So that you're getting poppycock reports.
Okay.
Okay.
I stared at the eclipse for an hour and a half as it was happening, and
Jeez.
my vision got better.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
we got to trust you on that one.
Yeah,
David.
Yeah, wait,
I don't know. I'm not going to try that one.
I'm a
out.
welder by trade, and
No, that's bad. No.
Well, yeah.
The brightness of the sun, you can hurt your eyes by staring at the sun. Absolutely. But there was a little bit of haze going on, and I was able to see it. And when most of the sun was covered, I could look at it. And I've trained my eyes from sun gazing to be able to handle a lot of light
Right.
without squinting at all. And there's some crazy stuff going on. If you look at the eclipse enough and have enough time, you'll realize that the whole heliocentric model is bullshit.
what's the training for that? Like,
You go out like the last couple
Just
minutes
stare at the
before
sun.
sunset and look at the sun.
Okay.
And
so it's like an eye workout.
yeah, work out your eyes, and you have to be grounded, bare feet on the ground, feet in the sand, on the rocks, whatever, and just build up a little bit at a time.
Okay.
And it's awesome. And it, unfortunately, I don't get to do it enough because the skies are so disgusting now. But whenever you do it, it's always so uplifting, and the sun, just like it feeds plants, feeds us.
Right.
So
All the vitamins we get from the sunlight.
Yeah, vitamin D.
Now, I will say there are some people out there that will go out and get totally naked and put their ass up in the air and let it hit their asshole. Are you one of these people, David?
no, the butthole sun thing, right?
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I was like, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. It's like
I
you
have
get
not
more
done
with
it.
your eyes than
I
your
have no
ass.
plans on doing it, but I'm not going to fault the people that do it. Okay?
I would say
I don't
train, slowly roll
Yeah.
into it. Train your
I
butthole.
think I could do that at full
don't
noon.
wanna- you don't want a
I could do it at full
sunburned
noon.
Yeah.
I could do it at full noon on a public beach.
There you go.
You're,
Okay.
you're just like flexing on everybody. Like, look how trained my asshole is for the sunlight.
You can look at it with your eyes at the same time and be grounded and just be.
Going
I
to
do
the
have a
other
serious
thing.
question.
Doing it.
I do.
Yes.
What's your theory on why the stars? Okay, so the stars are a projected image.
So the stars are not what they tell us. When we take our consumer zoom cameras, we can now zoom in on stars, and we're seeing some fucked up shit. Okay.
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 Right.
Okay.
These are different stars. Now, some people will say, They're out of focus. Some of them are, some of them aren't. It doesn't matter. This is what we're seeing. Sometimes something out of focus, you can see more than having it in focus.
Mhm.
These are all different stars. This is my favorite, which is Arcturus, right?
Okay.
This one's in focus, right? You zoom in on this. What the hell is that, right? My
Yeah.
personal opinion is that it's sentient in nature, okay? That it's stars could be where our souls are kept. They could be pieces of God. I don't know. All of the wandering stars, which we now call planets, are named after gods,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? And this is Capella, totally different, colorful, geometric shapes in there. If
Stuff
you've
from
studied
Thor
sacred
movie.
geometry, it
Yeah.
it literally blows you away.
It does look like it's from the Thor.
It was
the
like a
movie
portal.
Thor. Yeah, it
in
looks.
Thor.
Yeah, the movies tell us a lot. They do put a lot of truth in movies. Here's one for you, real quick. People say, "Well, all the other planets are round." Well, you know what? I'll agree. I look at Saturn and it kind of looks round, and the moon looks round. But if the lights in your ceiling don't dictate the shape of your floor, right? I don't care if your lights are triangles, balls, squares. It has nothing to do with the shape of your floor,
The
right?
square lights
But
are weird.
here's a question. I'm going to show you 4 moons. I'm going to ask you if it's a sphere or not. Is that one a sphere? Quick.
Yes.
Okay. So he grabs it. It's a half a sphere. Okay. I'll kind of give that to you because you saw one side of it. Is this one a sphere?
I'm gonna say no. You're tricking me.
Yes.
It looks like one.
Yeah.
That's
It looks
more-
like one.
It looks like one, but maybe it's not.
Oh,
Is this one a
Perception.
sphere?
No.
I'm gonna
sure?
still say
I'm
yeah.
gonna say
'cause it
yes.
looks
One of
like
them's
one.
gonna
Look,
I'm gonna
it's
say
a
yeah.
cup, right? So what I'm showing you is anything above our heads, we don't know what it is. We don't know how big it is. We don't know how far it is, and we don't know its shape. We don't even know if it's physical.
Yeah.
If you look at the moon, the sun and the moon in the day and the night sky, they look very, very different. And these 2 shots were taken at the same time. But look at the dark spot. It kind of looks blue, and the dark spot here looks black, like almost like we're looking at something that could be transparent. I don't know. Personally, I think that these are projected into our reality. And when there's a new moon, think about this. When there's a new moon, so the moon is in between the sun and the earth, okay?
Yeah.
And you can't see the moon. So the moon is waning, and then the last crescent disappears. Nobody has ever seen the moon in less than, I think, 42 hours. It's almost 2 full days. No airplane, no astronaut, well, astro liar. Nobody with a super zoom camera. No one has ever taken a picture of the new moon. And think about this. The new moon, if you were on the moon, right? So the dark side is facing the earth, right? So if you're on the moon looking at the earth, you have a full earth, like a full moon. Well, the earth is 6 times bigger than the moon. And I would contend that it's probably shinier, more reflective with its oceans and everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The earth shine should light up the moon, just like the moon lights us up. If you're in the middle of nowhere and you have a full moon on a clear night, you can drive without your lights on. You can read,
Yeah.
right? So the earth shine should light up the moon. And some people say, well, it's too close to the sun's blinding you. Well, during a total solar eclipse, when you're at totality, you should be able to see the features on the moon, but no one ever sees it. You just see a black disk. You just see blackness.
Mhm.
And that's because I think the way I showed you the eclipse works is that it's hidden behind there. I believe the moon is projected into our sky screen the same way, but when there's a new moon, there's nothing to project in. There's nothing to see.
So you think the moon is a projection, but from what you've said before, the planets and stars outside of that realm are real.
Well, I don't think there's anything physical floating in the sky.
Okay.
I think they're all
Projected.
projections, if you will. But again, we took, the farther you get away from city lights, the better the stars are. The
Mhm.
higher up you get, you think the brighter the stars get because you're looking through less and less atmosphere.
Yeah.
Well, we sent a balloon up on a super clear night in the desert with HD cameras looking upwards, and you could see all of the stars even before the balloon took off. And as it goes up, you think when it gets to 10,000 feet, it's above the thickest part of the atmosphere. You're going to see more stars. They're going to get brighter and brighter. By the time it got up to like 80,000 feet, all of the stars were gone.
Yeah, we were wondering about that. Like why you see NASA footage, space station footage, and
Yeah.
the outer space is solid black. And
Why
they're
does it look like that?
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
You should be able to see more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is
This-
interesting.
Yeah, when you start analyzing the crap that NASA gives us, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. Let's talk about why we can't see Mount Everest. How about that? How come you can't see Mount Everest from South Carolina? Right?
That'd be too far away, right?
Yeah, it's like over
Well,
the horizon.
Maybe it's
Because
a-
you only have like a 10-mile
Isn't-
visible distance with your eyes.
well. Plus, aren't we on a ball?
Well, if we're on a ball, if the Earth is flat, why can't we see Mount Everest?
Right.
Right.
So, excuse me. So this is Alusia, France, and we're looking out, and out here should be Canigou Mountain, but it's the top. It's 175 miles away. So the top of the mountain should be a mile below the surface. The
Right.
top of the mountain should be a mile below the horizon.
Mhm.
But on 2 days a year, when the sun is on its journey in between the tropics, it lines up with this viewing spot. And all of a sudden, as it's going into the distance, you can start to see, because it's kind of backlit, you can see the mountain. And the very top of this mountain should be a mile below a physical horizon, but it's clearly right there.
We kind of
you
have an area like that around here, where you
There's lots of places.
Yeah.
There's so many things in the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. There's a curvature calculator. So if you're at the beach or you're somewhere and you say, "Oh, look, I can see that's Mount so and so," or whatever, you can put in your viewing height and the distance to the object, and it should tell you how much curve there is.
like
It'll
ours.
tell
I
you.
think it's what Grandfather Mountain. You
Yeah.
can see Charlotte.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. So I mean, there are things that you supposedly could see on a ball, but here's a mountain. It's not a mirage. It's
Yeah, you see
it's
it.
a friggin' mountain. It's there.
And there's no way that that's possibly a cloud, a collection.
No,
of
we
clouds.
compared it to the mountain. Every little nook and cranny is exactly what Google Earth is showing you.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Well, I will say, out of everything you've said, that the stars being a projection, and the higher you go up, the darker it gets. That's compelling to me. That's compelling evidence to me. I'm very interested in the whole idea of that, and then the whole idea of like a Truman Show-esque type of setup.
There we are.
Yeah.
Now, what about the
And
anti-moon?
the True Man Show. Okay.
True man show. Yeah.
There's so many hints in that movie. And if you look at the controller, he's up in the moon, right?
Mhm.
So this is a weird one, but I believe that the moon has something to do with the reproduction cycles on this earth, and it's the delivery and removal of souls into our avatar meat suits.
Oh, this
That's
is
my belief.
interesting. This is interesting. So, like, I mean, obviously, what you're talking about and showing us is like, it is so expensive on a galactic scale. Like, this would take thousands, maybe millions of years to create this type
Or the
of
snap of a
technology.
finger from a god.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or the one verse. Sound creates everything. You know about Star in a Jar? They get a jar of water and they put sound waves into it, and a little star will light up in the jar.
Are you
right?
talking about people just yelling at a mason jar?
No, it's like frequency. It's frequencies. So if you think about the universe, is the universe, one verse. God
verse.
spoke the world into existence. Here's the thing: before I discovered flat Earth, I was a nihilistic atheist. I was a nice guy, but I didn't believe in any God. And anyone that mentioned the Bible, the Quran, whatever, I would write them off as religious kooks.
You punch 'em in
And
the face.
because I didn't believe in a
Mhm.
God in the sky. And
Right.
Right.
So, but when I discovered that the Earth wasn't a spinning ball and it wasn't from a Big Bang, and then I realized that the Earth is intelligently designed, it was created. So it was created by a creator, whatever word you want to call the creator. Maybe we're all pieces of that creator. Maybe souls created this world, and then the souls we're having these souls journeys here. We're having experiences in this world that they created.
Like a
Whatever you want, I
Scientologist.
don't care.
David, that's
Scientology.
Scientology.
Xenu.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Sounds like it.
That's what they
You're
believe
pretty
in.
close to Scientology.
So here's something for you and your listeners. tinyurl.com/science of souls. SOULS.
Okay.
tinyurl.com/science of souls. And it's like a question and answer of what are souls. Very interesting. Very interesting. It's like a 15-minute read. All
Okay.
right.
That's cool.
And you just start reading it, hang with it a little bit. If you get this a couple pages down, you'll be like, whoa, what the hell is
Hey,
going
now.
on here?
Yeah.
What is going on here?
Well, Alex was asking about the anti-moon, right?
Yeah, I keep reading about the anti-moon. What is that about?
I have no idea what the anti-moon is.
Okay.
Okay. Well, then I do have a question that's supposedly new to the flat Earth information. It's something about trees. What is this I've been hearing about with trees, and there's no old trees?
Yeah. So do you guys know about Tataria?
No.
No.
Enlighten us. Oh, Chris
Yes, you
does.
do.
You know?
Yeah. So Tataria was a worldwide advanced civilization that was here just over 100 years ago. It was, in the 1800s. And so all of our history is a lie. It's a complete and total lie. If you look at the buildings that were built back when we had horses and buggies, we can't build those buildings today. They all have these towers and domes, and the blocks are too big. All of this stuff. It was an advanced civilization, and that was free energy technology that they had. And if you guys start looking into the world's fairs, they didn't build these crazy, insane buildings and then knock them down after the fair. These was the takeover ceremony of the old world into the new slave world that we're in. And the people that have inherited this world after some sort of reset, they know the truth, and they're keeping it from us. They have us on this prison planet. They want us to think that we're, a random speck flying through an infinite universe, in a godless or distant God universe at best, and that we have no purpose, we have no power. When the truth is, we are at the center of creation. Our thoughts create our reality. Everything you guys have in your life came from your focused thought and belief and energy built everything that you have. And whether you have a lot or you have a little, doesn't matter. You did it. It's up to you. Your thoughts did it.
Yeah.
They don't want us to know that nobody has dominion over you. You have God-given free will, and nobody can take it from you unless you willingly give it to them. And if they tell you what they're doing and you're too stupid to say no, you're saying yes. They don't want you to know that your thoughts create the world around you, and they're controlling our thoughts. We're living in a prison, the ball, and television programming is all programming. It's poison.
Yeah.
David, do
So-
you really like the Matrix movies?
The documentary with Keanu Reeves, yes. Okay, so what's funny is I'm so tired of saying this, but I say it in every interview because it's really the best analogy. Neo at the beginning of the first Matrix, he's lost. His conscious mind is separated from his soul. His soul is a piece of God that knows that's here on a journey. And his conscious mind is lost in the soup of the world, and the Matrix has him, and he's trying to figure out what's wrong with the world. He's separated from his soul. Then if you look at the Neo at the end of the movie, he found out who he is, where he is, what he is, and he's taken back his own power, and he's become his own person, right? That's what flat Earth does. Hey, people are like, why are you talking about flat Earth? The world is fucked up right now, and you're talking about the shape of the Earth. I'm not talking about the shape of the Earth. I'm talking about the prison, the lie that is a prison of your mind. They've got your mind in a prison.
Are you excited for the fourth Matrix movie?
When's that coming out?
I think this year.
Yeah, this year.
Yeah.
HBO Max. We're not sponsored.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch. I don't know if it'll be good or not.
Yeah, because you've got me thinking now, like global warming over here is going to melt the ice wall, and then like freaking Atlanteans or something's going to attack from outside.
All global warming is a coup.
Well, then
They're
there's
saying,
hot
like,
words.
Atlantis is out here probably outside.
So you know what I never understood was why they always say, if the global warming warms up and the Antarctica melts, the ocean levels will rise 100 feet. But if you look at a globe, Antarctica is just this little thing on the bottom of the globe. I mean, how much could the water? It's going to spread out all over the whole ocean. Maybe it's an inch. Maybe it'll rise an inch. Right? Doesn't make any sense.
I think ice is buoyant, so it like
Yeah.
But it
Well,
wouldn't rise there in real life.
But
Ice.
even if
No,
all
sir.
of the ice in Antarctica, 200 feet of ice, you put that in the ocean, all of the world's oceans, it's not going to raise the level
No.
that much.
No, it's
But
not.
Yeah.
if Antarctica is bigger than all of the oceans and all of the continents combined, and all of that ice melted,
We're going Noah.
we're going hundreds of feet under.
Yeah.
Okay.
So is that why they have the sudden climate change stuff that they're pushing right now? Is that
No, that's all
or is
about
that
control.
just-
Climate change is not a real thing, done by humans. There is climate change, right?
Right.
But it's the cycles of the earth. And, here's some stuff. And again, anything above our heads or outside of the edge of Antarctica is speculation. But what if the world looked more like this? All right.
That's
And here's our sun in
Yes.
here, right? And
Oh,
outside of Antarctica is another sun and
A
another
ball.
moon that goes around.
they call that bowl? Am I right?
A ball.
Yeah.
Ball. Yeah.
BOL. I've
Yeah.
heard it pronounced differently, but
Yeah. So
Okay.
what if the world is set up like this? What if there was another world here back in the Aztecs and the Mayans and, all those advanced civilizations that disappeared one day? What if we wake up and the snow here doesn't stop? It's snowing in North Carolina and it doesn't stop. And in July, it's still below freezing, and it's just everything's getting frozen over. What would you do? You would head out south. So you're here, okay?
Yeah.
And it's all frozen. So you would head out to South America or to Australia, right? Or you would just head out, because if our sun oscillates right in here, like I showed you.
Yeah.
But what if it stopped coming into Cancer and it went from Capricorn out to a new outer destination? Well, what would happen is all of Antarctica would melt. Okay. All of the inner north would freeze, and everybody would migrate outwards. And so then you're out there, and this whole inner circle will be frozen. Okay. And so there'll just be some nomads left there, some Eskimos, whatever. You're there for 10
Like you say
years,
that
50
word more.
years, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, a new sun is born in the center, right? First, everyone would go, my savior, the sun, the SON, right? It would melt out a new puddle, and now you have a new ice ring, right? You'd have a world living out there that knows more than you do. And you'd have a world in here thinking you're the only survivors.
So David,
Okay.
what these outer rings? So we're in the center, then there's another ring, then there's another ring.
There actually might be one more ring in the center beyond in the north. Nobody can go to the north. There's some weird stories in the north of tropical lands and all sorts of stuff. But we were all programmed in school with we were all shown the National Geographic guys that went to the North Pole with their dog sleds, and they're freezing their fingers off, and they're getting frostbite, and they're running out of food, so they have to eat the dogs.
Eat each other. Yeah.
It was insane, right? And so basically, and it's cold and dark. They're like, "Hey, we're here!
You
Oh,
talking about-
yay!" And then they got to go all the way back.
The ice sheet of the north.
I remember seeing that in elementary school,
Okay.
and basically, my whole life was like, I don't want to go to the North Pole,
Yeah.
right? That's what it was for. I don't want to go to the North Pole. I think there's something there.
So are
Okay.
these other rings living a similar reality to us?
I think if they are real, if this is something, and again, this is David Weiss talking. I'm not speaking on behalf of anybody else, but there's a lot of people that believe in this multi-dome theory. I would say those are more technically advanced civilizations. Those are more, they've been here longer. They know they have more advanced. There's a story called the Iron Republic. And it's about I think it was a senator out of New York in the early 1800s, or sometime in the late 1800s. He was fed up with the system, and he got on a boat. He got a boat and went to Antarctica, and he found an opening, and he ended up going to the other side of Antarctica.
Mhm.
And he popped out somewhere, and they're in the ocean. They were lost for like a month, and then they found some land. And as they're approaching the land, a boat came out, and they're like, "Where are we?" And a guy spoke English, and he's like, "Oh, you're at the Iron Republic." And he's like, we're from the United States. Where are you? Where is that? And he goes, it's on the other side of Antarctica, equal the distance of where the United States is.
Are you a
Right.
fan of Game of Thrones?
Game of Thrones. I do like Game of Thrones because it's kind of fun. But again, the number one reason that movie was put out is to make people laugh at the ice wall, thinking the ice wall. Whenever you hear in the Antarctic ice wall, I'm going to piss off the end of the world. The little guy says.
What if the Nazis? What if the
It's
Nazis
not
were
a
there?
fucking ice wall. It's the ice shoreline of Antarctica.
It's not actually hollow Earth. It's just the second phase past
Yeah.
Antarctica.
What if they did that? That'd be
Well,
wild.
the Nazis did it.
The
It just-
Nazis are the second ring.
That
would be so bad.
You guys are aware NASA is complete and total horseshit, right?
Never
I was
a
reading
straight
about
answer.
your NASA
Not a space agency. What?
NASA is Disney, right?
NASA is the same as Disney because if you look,
All right.
this is the picture of Pluto they give us. And
Right.
is that my imagination, or am I seeing a desert shaped like fucking Pluto?
Yeah,
That's why they took its planethood away.
they took it away.
Yeah, they took his planet away. You're right, exactly. And if you look at like the Earth, here's Baja to the other side of Mexico, which is 934 miles because you can drive it and measure it pretty much. And the diameter of the Earth 7,917. Well, you should be able to fit 8.5 of these in here, right? But 8.5 of these goes right off the page, right? So the Earth is either tiny or NASA's full of shit and we never went to the moon.
Well, in the multi-dome theory, what's on the very outer edge? Like, is it still just a flat pond, or is it in fact some huger sphere?
Again, we could live in a single puddle. There could be other puddles out there with their own suns.
Dude, they
Yeah.
got
I call
donuts.
that puddle theory,
Donut
right?
rings.
Right.
It's kind of like that, and it's
Yeah.
just other puddles. That was kind of cool, right? Cool idea. Without a dome, or maybe there is a dome. There could be all sorts of.
I like
these
that.
are all different seasons. Yeah, this is one of my favorites, right? And you laugh, like, look at this. This is a whole nother world in here, and they would never know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, who knows?
So they're
I don't
being,
know.
they might be being fed a line of bullshit like we are about, the whole inside is an ice wall. There's nothing
Right.
there living.
They
and
broke
then-
their dome when they're dead.
so you've probably seen some video evidence of like alien drones that fighter pilots are chasing on FLIR cameras. And could this be technology from
A different
a
civilization.
different civilization
Beyond the
outside
ice
of our
wall.
dome, not actually outside of our solar system?
Yeah, so the soul lure system, that they're stealing our souls. We live in the Earth system.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
aliens. So first, if my arms hand to hand are the light spectrum, we can only see this little spectrum right here inside the light spectrum.
Right.
So there could be things right in front of us that we just can't see that are vibrating at a different level.
Right.
Okay. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I think it's a lot. So we'll call that the demon, alien, angelic realm, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But then there's extraterrestrials. Think of the word. Extra is more, terra, territory, more land. Extraterrestrials come from the outer lands in the outer space across the flat Earth plane, right?
Okay.
So when NASA says they want to go to outer space, maybe they want to go to outer space. All their friggin' telescopes are pointing south in the deep south. They're not pointing up, they're pointing out away from the center, right? So maybe they're trying to figure out what the hell's going on out there. But, extraterrestrials make a heck of a lot more sense here on Earth. They probably even speak English,
Yeah.
So are you kind of into the idea of a hollow Earth, except it might not be a hollow Earth?
So I think Hollow Earth may have came around because the stories out of the North Pole where there's another land in there, and Admiral Byrd saying he found all of this land bigger than the United States.
The Nazis
Hollow
were
Earth
there too,
keeps you in a
apparently.
heliocentric model. It keeps you in a universe of balls, right? You're still on a prison planet. They don't want us to know that we're here on this Earth plane. We have free will, and there's more to discover. The Truman Show. What did the teacher say? He said, "I want to be an explorer." What did she say?
I just
There's
watched it.
nothing
the other-
else.
Yeah.
There's nothing less to explore,
Yeah.
Truman. Right? That's where they have our minds
They're
right now.
corking everybody to stay here in our present day.
Try telling that to Elon Musk.
Yeah,
Well,
what about
Elon Musk is a puppet, and no one's been to space. Let's destroy NASA for
He's
a
a
few
government
minutes.
shield.
What's that?
He's a NASA shield.
Yeah, you said he's a government shield.
He's
paid actor.
Listen. He's a paid actor. He's a MK Ultra puppet, whatever you want to call him. Think about this. He's the
Nice.
CEO of the world's largest solar company. He's the CEO of the world's largest tunneling company. He's the CEO of Tesla Motor Cars, the world's biggest electric car company. He's the CEO of the fucking company that took over NASA. Okay.
Right.
This is impossible. Nobody can do all of these things. And then listen to the guy talk. He's a moron.
Yeah.
Right.
What if he's like you what you were saying, figure it out and create your path by thinking it.
He's a
like
dreamer.
Neo.
Well, yeah, I love it. But once you understand that we never went to space, there are no photos of Earth. Here's a question. And if NASA lies once, they're lying all the time. So yeah, answer me this. Is this a NASA footage or is this an excerpt from South Park Goes to the Moon? Now, this is when the lunar rover left the moon and is meeting up with the lunar orbiter. So is this NASA footage or is this what South Park rejected because the animation's too crappy?
It looks terrible.
Yeah, it looks
There's
bad.
two grown men with diapers in there. Okay. Right.
Right.
This is the actual footage that NASA shows us of the LEM meeting up with the orbiter.
I was about to say, who's filming that?
That's coming from the orbiter. Well, it'll switch in a second. They're going to switch cameras and then you'll see. So it's coming. It's maneuvering magically. I mean, there's even worse footage than this. So
it's moving. Looks.
Yeah, it's coming closer. You know, here's the docking port right there. And it's complete nonsense. This is what people believe. That's now that's filming. It's the dumbest crap ever.
Well, what about
so pathetic?
What about the movie Interstellar? Have you seen it?
Yeah, they did a better job.
Right? That movie looks way better.
All right, so here, this is from the space station. Where's the land? How come there's no land?
It looks like there might be some land up in the top.
Yeah, so that's your imagination working, right? And I can prove that. I can prove that because we took this in someone's front yard and just turned it upside down. Okay. So, and that's a zero budget. NASA gets $65 million a day. Okay.
I want a piece of that.
Now, is that 40,000 pounds of steel? Here, I'll give you a better view. Is that 40,000 pounds of steel? Or is that a blimp?
That's
like
a blimp.
balloon from a parade?
I don't know anymore.
Well, think about it.
Like burnt hot dog weenie.
What would happen if you dropped 40,000 pounds of steel? Would it fall very fast?
Well, yeah, it would reach terminal velocity.
Yeah. Is this reaching terminal velocity or is this a friggin' balloon? Do you see a piece of paper float by it? Okay. Watch, there's another piece of paper that goes by in a little bit.
Yeah.
It'll show you that it's not falling. The piece of paper. You see it?
Yeah.
There's like, this is a helium balloon. Okay. But this is supposed to be the external tank from the space shuttle falling back to Earth. And it's supposed to burn up. It's supposed to burn up, right? Watch this. This is supposedly wobbling because of the wind. It weighs 4 million pounds. This entire thing is a balloon. It's a bouncy house,
right?
Okay,
it's another theme park.
You can see the wrinkles. Right? There's other ones where there's wrinkles in the balloon. This is a friggin' balloon. You ever wonder why the space shuttle, when it takes off, it rolls over on its back?
Yeah,
because the external balloon is the most buoyant part, so it turns over on its back as it's having a little bit of thrust. This is all bullshit. This is a balloon, right? The lie is so big that people can't see it. So on the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, in the under NASA, there's awesome. There's a whole playlist of videos about rockets or balloons. Large rockets with people in them do not exist.
I want to know what the ISS is because I've seen it go across the moon.
And then also I have relatives in Florida and they've seen them launch shuttles with their own eyes.
Yeah, so when they launch rockets and we see you never get close, except they'll show you some people like that are close, but that's all nonsense.
Yeah.
They're launching something. whether
makes
it's a rocket assisted balloon, it curves out, it goes right over the Bermuda Triangle, and then it disappears. And if you watch it on video, you're watching a cartoon within seconds, let alone and under a minute, you're watching a cartoon. And if you watch any launch, there's 5 different camera cuts before it, just like within a second or two of it clearing the tower. They never show you one going all the way up because it's fakery on top of fakery. It's animation. It's miniatures. It's balloons. It's all edited together. But the people that are watching are 10 miles away, minimum.
Yeah.
And it goes up and it goes out. They're launching something and they're fooling people. They're fooling people amazingly.
What about Elon Musk's rocket that come back to Earth?
Oh yeah,
the one that lands upright. That is the dumbest crap ever. People believe that that's real when in fact this is a 1957 Russian movie where they're predictively programming us to believe this crap, and the one over here is real. This is a movie, and this was real. But I don't know if you guys have ever been to sea. It's blowing like 20 to 30 miles an hour. There's 5-foot rollers out there, right? You'd have a hard time standing on that raft, let alone landing this thing. That little bit of fire, this thing empty is like 40,000 pounds.
Right.
Okay. It's gigantic. And that little bit of fire is going to land it in a bullseye on that raft. Total, complete joke.
It looks like it's just this video footage put in reverse.
I'm just wondering which asshole decided to film the Challenger.
Yeah. So
let's do some drama.
Yeah. So the Challenger was the first time.
In Discovery.
I'm not going to say a lot. This going on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to say a lot about it.
Okay.
The Challenger was the first time that every television was brought in. Televisions were brought into every school kid's room.
They found
so all the kids in the United States, maybe the world, were watching this.
They're still alive.
And it exploded. They all have twins, they say, because all of their twins are still alive.
I've read about this before.
Really? And check this out. None of them showed up at their funerals.
Right.
Of their sibling. That's all I got to say about that.
And they're all age appropriate too.
They're all and the same name. There's some of them we have speeches when they're talking, but when they were an astronaut, and then them doing a lecture now. Same dimple, same voice, same expression, same hands, same. It's
I didn't believe it when I was
unbelievable.
reading it, but once I got done, I was like, "This is
plausible.
This is
Wow.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Guys, we can go on and on. Any final questions?
What is your favorite?
What do I do with my life now? How do I tell my family? How do I not be shamed?
Right? How you not be shamed?
You know what? Don't here's what I tell people: get the Flat Earth Clock app, watch the video every day, and instead of going to someone, hey, did you know the Earth is flat? You say, hey, check out this video. Watch this 2-minute video with me, and then what do you think about that? And you just plant seeds, and guess what? You keep throwing seeds down, they grow.
Right.
5 years ago, people would laugh at me. Like if I was doing this 5 years ago, I wouldn't be able to get on anyone's show. Unless someone's like, oh, let's make fun of this guy, which still happens today. And those are the shows that are the best, by the way.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I love when people are like, it's a ball and we're going to tear you apart. I'm like, yes, can we do it tonight? But you just kind of just plant seeds. And again, there's so much to learn. There's so much we don't know, but at least we know that we don't know. The one thing that all flat earthers agree, some people are like endless plane, other people are like single dome, other people are biblical, all of the stuff. That's all fine.
And the elephant.
That's fine. We'll figure that. Well, there's a great video, and under the documentaries, watch Marty Leeds video called Flat Earth, the Ultimate Litmus Test. Great movie. Great, like literally popcorn, grab a beer, throw it on the big screen. It's great. There's great videos in the app for that. But what was the question? I lost the question. It was
Well, I was going to say
Shame.
that there's actually been flat earthers that's given up their life for the cause, like Mad Mike Hughes.
No. That's mind programming there. Mad Mike Hughes was a flat earther, smart enough to know the earth was flat. Okay. But he is a Evel Knievel, stunt guy.
He's a limo driving, jumping.
Hold on. He built a steam powered rocket in his garage.
Yes.
He wanted to win the world record excuse me, he wanted to win the world record for the largest, highest steam powered jump.
Mm-hmm.
That jump, he went 1,800 feet. Okay. Well, he needed money. He needed some more compressors and stuff. And he was trying to raise money. And a bunch of flat earthers said, hey, we'll raise the money for you because this was going to be a televised event. Let's write research flat earth on your rocket. We'll pay for a billboard on your rocket. That's all it was.
Okay.
So we got him $7,000, or whatever the number was. We got the billboard on his rocket. And then the news media said, crazy stuntman tries to prove the earth is flat with his steam powered rocket. Right. That video, there's still articles that are being written today about that stupid story. And then he did another jump where he killed himself.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He wasn't trying to prove the earth was flat. He was trying to break the record for the dumbest stunt ever. All right. Now, he did on a news show, he would love to get a rocket floated up to 120,000 feet on a balloon and then launch it. Okay.
Light the candle, bitch.
That actually is something that NASA has. They do that with like an airplane. They take a rocket up as high as they can, then they drop it and launch the rocket from up there. So it's very similar. And I think they have plans to do one on a balloon. You know that NASA is the largest owner and consumer of helium and helium companies.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah.
Rocket.
So
Yeah, it's the rocket fuel.
No.
'Cause I think that's
It's-
is it hydrogen or helium in the SpaceX rocket?
hydrogen.
Well, helium's not flammable at all.
Yeah. Helium they use for filling up all of those helium
the
rockets.
rocket
but
board.
they launch satellites, tens of thousands of these things out of Antarctica with balloons. This like an 8,000-pound satellite can be hoisted up with a balloon and stay up there for a year or more.
So they're
Okay.
allowed to be in Antarctica?
They launch them from Antarctica.
Okay.
And that way they can maneuver their heights and stuff and get them to go anywhere in the world that they want remotely, just by there's consistent winds that go in counter rotation at different levels. There's all sorts of stuff.
You're saying that we don't actually have rockets or jet propulsion that can get us high enough, that it's all just balloons and trickery, or is it
Well,
just
we
they
have,
have it and they just don't show us?
Yeah, I mean, we have high flying aircraft that maybe can go 100,000 feet. I don't know.
Yeah.
They can shoot a rocket up. I don't know how high, but here's a rocket that actually went straight up. This is an amateur rocket out of Arizona. It went straight up. It's called the Go Fast rocket. And something weird happened as it was going. And NASA never does this. They don't give us an uninterrupted video feed of the Earth.
Right.
And this had one pointing down and one pointing sideways. But all of a sudden, it went kerplunk. It hit something at 73 miles. It seemed like a more viscous solution. I don't want to say it was water, but it was more viscous. So it's floating. And while it was floating, all of a sudden, it could see the moon. Here comes the moon. This little dot right there. That's the moon, right?
Okay.
Here's the Earth plane. Well, we looked to where the moon was at that time, and the moon was over Australia. The moon was over Australia. So Australia is down here, they're up here a half a millimeter. You'd have to look through the earth to see the moon.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. The only way that could happen is on a flat earth.
Interesting.
So here's what's going to happen. You guys are going to get trolled the heck out of it. You're going to get butthurt. There's two different categories. You're going to get just butthurt people that don't want to admit that they've been lied to their whole life, and they're going to say this is stupid. And they're going to make insults and whatever.
Oh, that's fun.
But they'll throw out stuff that we talked about that they didn't even pay attention to.
Right.
Like what about sunsets? What about this? What about that? But then you're going to have other accounts that are going to reply to every comment. And they're going to say flat earth is stupid, Dave Weiss is a scammer, blah, 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 blah. But then you go look at their YouTube page, zero content. They're bots, they're trolls, right? And they're out there to derail the conversation because fortunately or unfortunately, whatever you want to look at it, this conversation is going to wake up a lot of people. Anyone that sees this is either going to have to disconnect their brain, or they're going to be like, oh crap, now I got to deal with this.
I hope it does.
gosh.
I hope it does wake some people up or get some people thinking. You know, I love having you on. I love the banter back and forth, and I love learning from you. But we might not agree on some things, but it is super fun having you on and talking to you and hearing your points. And you definitely opened my eyes to a few things. I'm glad you gave us the time to come on.
Yeah,
It was
definitely.
it was really fun.
Yeah, no problem. And again, you can find my app with that's the best way to learn about flat Earth. It also helps me. It's $2.99. Make sure you look for the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app by Blue Water Bay. Right on Android, there's a disinformation app like the Flat Earth Society that made an app, same name, and it's free and it's horrible. So if you get it, don't send me an email telling me my app sucks. 'Cause it's not my app.
Did you
Okay.
copy someone else, or did someone copy
No,
you?
they're copying me, and I think they finally have given up because they can't keep up with all the innovations I keep putting in it, and it's horrible anyway.
Nice.
But you know, the app, the content of my app is good. You know, just the daily video every day. And when you get the app, you want to turn on your notifications so you get the notification so you can actually see it. Make sure it shows why the screen is locked so you can see it. It's great. And just one notification a day tells you what the video is about. And you're like, all right, let me watch that. And you're like, I never thought about that.
Nice.
Hey, honey, come here. Not another flat Earth video.
Not again. Quick, what's your favorite space movie?
Space movie.
Because they're all fake sci-fi anyway.
They're all, I mean, I don't know, the original Star Wars. I don't know.
Okay, there we go.
Okay,
That's a good
okay.
answer. Okay,
Fair
that's good.
enough.
I mean,
Fair enough.
by the way, I love space movies. Come on,
Right.
it's so cool.
They're interesting.
But now the new movies should be about the outer space. You know, what's going on out there. You
Yeah,
know,
I want
God, there's
outer-
a whole new
like
realm
outer
for
ring
movies.
Beyond the ice.
Yeah.
And you know, the secret propulsion, the secret space program, just change it to the secret propulsion program, right?
Right.
It's you know, not using fuel, which that's a whole nother rabbit hole. If you looked into that, airplanes not using fuel. It's
Oh, it's another
insane.
can of worms.
Yeah, another
Sounds
can of
like
worms.
it sounds like you should write a movie, David.
You know what? I'm maybe.
Like yeah.
You know, we live in a friggin' movie. This world is the most
Yeah.
interesting thing. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't have to watch movies anymore. You just look out the window.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
wave at all the birds when you go outside.
You create
The
your
birds
own
are fake.
universe, David. So just
You're right. You know what? I'm happier than can be. I'm having a great old time. 2020 was the best year ever, and 2021 is lining up for,
It's getting
for
there.
another great year.
Right.
Well, David, does anyone else have any questions for David? I think
good.
I'm totally happy. I'm satiated.
Yes, this is
Yeah.
awesome.
Right.
I have one more question, but I downloaded the app and hopefully it'll tell me.
What's the question?
Okay, so people in the center of the flat Earth, when they look up, they see the North Star, right?
Yes.
And people on the outside, they look up,
They don't see the North Star.
the Southern Cross.
All right, Chris, you and I were in a room together at 10-foot high ceilings, big
All right.
empty room, right? And we have
Right.
recessed lights all in the ceiling that, you know, in random patterns that those are the stars. Now we're going to expand that room to 10 miles wide. Okay. It's now a 10-mile wide room. I'm
All
going
right.
to send you 7 miles away from me. 7 miles away, a 10-foot high ceiling and the floor will merge and I will not be able to see you. Right. That's just a fact. Right. It won't be able to see you. And then we both look up. We're going to look up at different stars. We're going to see completely different stars. The stars are in the ceiling above us. And as we move away from the center, they just merge into the horizon. Nothing goes below the horizon. It just merges into the horizon and you can't see it anymore. Right.
Okay.
But there's a observatory in South America, like 30 degrees south, that has been able to see Polaris. Well, that should be tens of miles, maybe 100 miles of hump of dirt should be in between them and Polaris if the Earth was a ball, but they've been able to see it.
Okay.
Right. I think that observatory has been closed down, but you know, it's also atmospheric conditions. As something goes farther away, down low, that atmosphere just gets so thick, just like Mount Canigou. You can't see it. Right.
Right.
So that's how that works. Just think of a big room and you know, everything just disappears. And then add some atmosphere in there, you won't be able to see anything.
Right. Yeah.
That makes sense.
This app's gonna make me burn my shirt, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, what's your shirt? You got a NASA shirt?
Yeah.
You can't see it because of your pop filter, but he has a NASA shirt on. Well, David, we definitely appreciate your time.
All right.
Yeah,
We-
thank you for
It was
coming
a
on.
blast, guys. After
pleasure.
you deal with all the hate and you get people, you're gonna get a lot of support also. Maybe we can do it again and we'll take it down a little deeper.
Oh, we'd love to.
Deep
Yeah.
inside the rabbit hole.
We
We'll
would
do
love
a part
to.
2 down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. You can listen to my podcast. We haven't put out a lot of new episodes recently, but you can start from the beginning and there's tons of information. If you're looking for some audio, like if you're working and you can listen to audio or you're driving or whatever, the Flat Earth podcast.
Nice.
On any app player, we'll get it. You can also get some information at theflatearthpodcast.com and my YouTube channel. Subscribe there. I do nice, short, to the point videos, and it's DITRH. It's the initials for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. DITRH. Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole.
Well, nice.
And
Well, thank you for
that's
sitting
it.
down. Thank you for sitting down with the guys from TACT Lab. We appreciated it greatly.
Yeah, you guys were a blast. I appreciate it. And thanks.
Whoa.
Like, seriously. That was a really good experience.
Holy fuck.
Well, like I said, I've got a lot to read about.
Yeah,
I've got
to research, man.
Did you really buy the app?
I bought the app, and I'm
Wow.
gonna find out if we bombed Hiroshima with balloons.
You over here with your GME money? You're just buying apps left and right,
I gotta zip
motherfucker.
up my shirt.
dude.
Yeah. You're going to burn that shirt later.
You're rolling hard with the trade with the stock money, but you're flexing on all of us.
It's all for naught
You
now.
gotta
Anyway,
hold,
we live
man.
in a
It's all
fucking
probably
dome.
going down. Yeah,
Hold the line.
money means nothing.
Well,
Not when there's a donut dome outside waiting
Yeah.
to invade us.
Lil Jon was invested in Robinhood.
yeah. Well, you know what? You know what? I'm. You know what Little Johnny's talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What?
I don't know.
So, I'm pretty much convinced that this world is a matrix. It's a simulation, and I'm gonna start creating and thinking the reality I want and doing the things I want to do.
Yeah. That's why they say if you will it, it happens, right?
Yes.
Well, David has convinced me that we're all being harvested, and it's time to wake up, people.
I want to know who's shining the light.
Within 20
Yeah.
years,
Yeah,
we got to save up, and in 2040, we got to go over that ice wall.
Who controls?
Get a couple more GMEs, Chris. Start investing in Dogecoin.
2040, what do we be
I mean,
like?
they still never told us who killed Kennedy. They redacted that motherfucker and
Yeah.
then smoothed it. So
Who controls the Antarctica Treaty? What is this thing about the trees? You know, there was a couple unanswered questions, but
I think
then
in part 2, we're going to have to figure out why the law.
Yeah.
like,
And then
why
the
is it-
the multi-layers and extra lands out there, he never said what's holding it all together, if it's a sphere or just another pond.
I forgot to
and
ask,
bigger-
why is it still in a circle? Why does it have to be in a circle?
where does it end?
Right.
What is at the end?
It's just
There's
a,
questions for next episode.
He said it wasn't quite a fall off.
Right.
So does it just taper off? Is there like a plot of land that goes to a point under us? Like, I'm just
Chris will tell us he's got the fucking app.
Yes, and but
do
Chris,
your one day video challenge and let us know.
Chris is a big believer in turtles. I like
Look.
turtles.
If it's look, if the flat Earth's gonna exist, it's gonna have a turtle carrying it.
Something's under it. What the fuck is under it?
I don't know.
Well,
I like that Moonlander video and the balloon space shuttle.
Yeah, but as of now, I'm
That
still
was
a
new.
rounder.
Man.
We'll see what happens.
That was new to me, the balloon space shuttles. That was pretty good.
David,
I like that.
David's prepped and ready for any and all.
He's hardcore, man.
I would love to get the complete opposite person of David, but we should maybe have them on, do a Zoom call with them without David, and then us ask them questions about flat Earth from
Someone-
David's
I'll
perspective.
have a trilogy. And the last episode is them both together.
We could maybe
If
we
we
could
knew
maybe
someone
get that.
from
We can
NASA.
make Neil deGrasse Tyson join up.
Well, there's all kinds of small.
Get enough GameStop coin, you can.
There are a
Anything's
number.
possible.
Unbutton your purse over there and get some coins out.
Yeah, until next week, and I lost it all. And I jump off a building.
You might get you might get a Bitcoin. You know, if you say I'm not happy with this, all you got to do is tell David you're not happy, and he'll fucking throw a
He's not gonna
Bitcoin
give me
at you.
$30,000.
Crazy, David. Don't give away your fucking Bitcoins just
No,
over $2.
He doesn't have Bitcoin. He probably just will buy you one.
Well, that's a generic guarantee. It's just like Tommy Boy. I can take a shit in a box and stamp guarantee on it, but doesn't mean it doesn't.
You take a head of a butcher's ass, don't see a T-bone or something like cattle. I don't know something.
Yeah, but I'd
gotta
rather
be
take
your
his
bull.
word for it.
Your head up his bull.
No, wait. It's got to be your bull.
I wouldn't fuck you with his ass.
Well, with that said, we hope you enjoyed our first guest. We sure did. We love David now. Hopefully he knows what he's gotten himself into.
He was a good guy.
Great guy.
He was cool.
Great guy
He was
for
pretty
giving
cool.
us the time. We appreciate it, and we're trying to line up more guests for the future. If you want to be a guest and you have an amazing story that you think we would love, whether that's personal experiences or job-related stories, that is right up our alley, we'd love to hear from you.
And you don't even have to be a public figure. Just have something interesting.
Yeah, reach out to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Thomas, how can they reach us?
Yeah, so if you want to reach out to us, you can email us at tactlabpod@gmail.com. That's TACTLABPOD@gmail.com. Or if you just avoid or you enjoyed our show, don't avoid it.
Avoid us at all costs.
If you really enjoyed it, then check us out on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We have a couple extra things we do on there. We post some videos, some pictures, a little bit of extra. You can also support us at patreon.com/TACTLab. And if you see us out there, just leave some feedback. Give us a comment.
We love it.
Rate us. If you're on iTunes, I don't know why you are, but give us 5 stars. Tell us to go fuck ourselves. But give us 5 stars first.
Rate us, for real. Who has the biggest dick in this room? 1 to 10.
What?
Well, right now it's Chris because he's got GameStop.
Chris, for real, Chris has big dick energy over here.
So if you want to steal from Chris, his address is...
Jesus, I'm screwed.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
We love
Big shout out to
all of
David.
our supporters.
Good night.
Thank you, David.
Bye,
Thanks, David.
motherfuckers.